Hey YouTube, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. This channel is There Has to Be Something More. I'm your humble host, Scott Moore. Here today to tell you about my most recent trip to the border of Mexico and Guatemala. And so when you're here as a tourist, when you first get to Guatemala, you get 90 days, typically. Then you can file for an extension, you can get another 90 days. After that, you have to leave the country. And there's a group called the C4, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, I think. You cannot go to those countries. That does not qualify as leaving the country. So your choices are kind of Mexico, Costa Rica, Belize, fly back to the US, but get out of the country for a bit. And then you can come back in, start the process over again. So I am absolutely, after this trip to the border, I am absolutely starting to work on my residency. It's a long day. Now you can make it a little shorter. I'm going to tell you what I did, and then I'm going to tell you some other options that you can think about. So, and I'm doing this inside instead of, usually it's a beautiful day here. I'd love to be sitting in the park. But I have one English class coming up that I'm going to do here shortly. And also there are some things on the computer I wanted to look at while we were speaking, just so I wouldn't make a mistake. But so the way I went was this is from Xela to the border. So Quetzaltenango, you grab a bus, a chicken bus. It's a regular old US school bus. And you do a 2-hour trip to San Marcos. At San Marcos, you hop off the bus and you get another bus from San Marcos to Malacatan. And then Malacatan to the border is a microbus, which is kind of a, it's like a van, but it's not cargo. It's like a van, but it seats, it has bench seats in it usually. It'll fit 12 people or so, depending on how crammed in you want to get. If it's too full, just wait for the next one. So that's how I went. Now, that's typically roughly 4 hours, I would say, with changing buses and grabbing something to drink or a snack or something like that. It's probably going to take you 5. If I wasn't in any big hurry. I did leave really, really early. The buses leave from Xela as early as 5 a.m. I just wanted to get there and know that everything was good. And then on the way home, it's kind of like, the stress is off. You just kind of take your time and get back home. So that's how I did it. Chicken buses are dirt cheap. Let's see, give you an idea. I would say about, I think some of them were like 30, 40. It was just dirt cheap. I mean, you're going to easily get there for, I guess, 40, 50 bucks, I think. I didn't even count. It's just so cheap. Now, you can get a car to drive you from Xela there, and I'll tell you why. You're probably going to double that price. Usually they're going to charge you somewhere around 1,000 quetzales, which is about 130 bucks. The problem is you get there and they don't have to let you right back in. Mexico has the ability to say, well, we're not going to stamp you back. You just got here. We're not going to stamp you back out until you're here for 2 or 3 days. So, you can try a couple of times to get back in, but if they say no, then you could theoretically be stuck there for 2 or 3 days. In that case, you would probably go to a little town about 20, 30 minutes away called Tapachula. And I have yet to go to Tapachula. Like what I did this time, I just crossed over. I got my stamp out of Guatemala. Then you go to the Mexican building and you get your stamp into Mexico. And then, just sit there, grab lunch, just relax, walk around. There's some stores you can look at. There's an OXXO, which is kind of like a 7-Eleven. So, just relax for an hour or so and come back in. Now, on the way out this time, it was a little unusual. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but I started talking to the lady when I was leaving Guatemala, and the immigration lady, and she says, well, is your plan to come right back? And I said, yeah, I hope that I can just, come right on back in. And so she says, well, when you get back, she said, this is exactly what she told me, stay in Mexico for, 30 minutes or an hour, come on back in, come over here to the office. You're going to hand me 200 quetzales, which is about $26. And I'm going to give you 90 days. Now, when you come back in, they don't have to give you 90 days. They can give you 30 days. They can give you a week. So that was like music to my ears. I was like, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I said, are you going to be here? I really wanted to know, is this lady going to be sitting here, or is she going to do a shift change or anything? She said, no, I'll be here. So I'm like, that's good. Good news. Okay, so that made me feel a little better also. So I know if I can get back through Mexico, like when you're coming into Mexico, they ask you, how long will you be in Mexico? Now, I've been told, that you should tell them, no more than 3 days. Because if it's over a certain amount of time, I think if it's like a week or more, then they're going to hit you with some kind of charge. I don't remember exactly how much that charge is, but I think it was, $100, a couple $100, something like that. So, I just told her, I said 2 or 3 days. And now on the way back in, an hour later, she didn't ask me anything, nothing, just stamped me and said, have a nice day. So all of that was great. It was, now when you get to the border, there's like people everywhere that are going to be walking up, trying to help you, trying to figure out some way to get, a few quetzales or a few Mexican pesos from you. I really just say thanks, but no, and they kind of swarm you. It's one after another. And even after you tell them, I don't want your help, I don't need your help, they'll keep walking next to you. So you just have to kind of stand your ground. And lots of fireworks today. No idea why. I'm going to have to find out later. So anyway, it was super. It was just as everything went as well as it could have gone. But still, that being said, it was a long day. 3 bus rides there, all the stuff at the border, 3 bus rides back. I caught the 5 a.m. bus leaving Quetzaltenango, and I got home back to my house about 5:30. So I was out running around doing that for 13 hours, somewhere around there. I was tired, and I'm not a small guy, and sometimes squeezing into these buses, they're like, I don't know, there's like no room to get your legs in. You're kind of having to squeeze over to the left or squeeze over to the right, because if you sit straight ahead, your knees are smashing into the bench seat in front of you. So yeah, I slept great that night. I was tired when I got home. So I would say, that's about it. Now, as far as getting residency, first thing I'm going to do is in a couple weeks, I'm going to make a trip to the capital, to Guatemala City. Apparently, that is the only place where you can get your fingerprints done for your police report, which is one of the requirements is an FBI report. So I'm going to have to take what's called the Shela bus, which is a real nice luxury bus. It's like $20, something like that. And you go in comfort. It's about a 4-hour drive. Get off. You can call Uber, get somebody to pick you up. I had the location. I'm going to have to find it here. But there's one place in Guatemala City that's officially able to give you these fingerprints. Then the fingerprints have to go to the U.S. They have to be, the way I understand it is they have to be stamped by one person and then sent to another place and be apostilled, An apostille is kind of like, it's like notary, but for Papers International. So it has to be stamped in one place, apostilled in another place. So that's one thing that I have to get done, the fingerprints. Second thing I'm going to have to do is get a copy of my Social Security, they call it like your pension paperwork. So I have to get an official copy that shows how much money I get every month. And again, that has to be stamped and signed and apostilled. I think there's a couple different places that has to go to. Any kind of, if you're married, you have to have a marriage certificate. Again, has to be apostilled. Now, those are the three things that I have to do. You can do this by yourself. If you speak, fluent Spanish, you can give it a shot doing it by yourself. I am pretty sure I'm going to use a lawyer. There's one here that's been recommended. He's helped quite a few of the expats here. And it's about $1,500, but like he sent me a list before I even asked him like how much he charged. I'm like, what all do I need? And he sent me this list. There was like 12 or 15 things on there. And he said, now if you're doing it by yourself, you have to do all these 12 or 15 things. If you're paying me, then you have to give me those 3 things and your work is done. So $1,500. Send in the pension, apostille, if you're married, a marriage certificate, and the FBI report, because they don't want you here if you are a bad person and you've spent some time in the can. They don't want you here if you can't pay your bills. So they want to make sure that you have a certain amount of money, and there is a certain amount that's required, and that does change. So you'd have to look that up. I think the last time I checked, here you had to have like $1,250, and if you're married or with somebody else, you have another dependent, I think that's an additional $250, so it'd be about $1,500 a month. The average Social Security check now is right around $1,900. So if you've got an average Social Security check or money coming in for something else, somewhere around $1,500 is the requirement, and then you don't have to do the run to the border every 6 months anymore. So that's where I am. I just thought I'd kind of share that with you. Again, Xela to San Marcos to Malacatan, Malacatan to El Carmen, which is the city there. And then if you're going to stay there for a day or two, you can go to Tapachula, which is 20 or 30 minutes away. You can also do things like some people get on a tour bus. They have buses that go like tourism buses that go from here to San Cristobal de las Casas. I think that's 9 or 10 hours. And if you do that, you can just make a vacation out of it. Go to San Cristobal for 2 or 3 days or a week and come back and you're good to go. And because sometimes the immigration looks at unfavorably is if they see that you leave and come back in every 6 months over and over and over. So anyway, I hope that helps. Please take a second to like and subscribe. Really helps the channel. If you have any questions, comment down below. If I know the answer, I'll let you know. If I don't, I'll try to find out. But I hope you all are having a great day. If you're looking for a place with a low cost of living, maybe 20-25% of what you'd spend in the U.S., high quality of life, beautiful weather, friendly people, this might be your channel. Or maybe you're just looking for an adventure for a couple weeks. Xela is a great place. From here, you can also scoot over to Lake Atitlan, which is a couple hours away, the most beautiful lake in the world. Or you can go 4 hours to Antigua, which is the big tourist city. But here, we're way up in the mountains. We've got the beautiful, cool weather. And so maybe you just need an adventure. But if you do, remember, there has to be something more.